guys on the screen like I just had planned it ahead of time. I thought you were looking at Cat, so I turned my head too, John. Looks like you're looking at Cat. Oh, the Cat's looking at you. Cat, you are a Muppet. Hey, welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. My name is Will, and joining me as always are my friends and co-hosts, Ket and John.
Hi, guys.
Hello. What's more?
They cannot be canceled. Never.
We tried.
Yeah, I just realized in the software we use here, there's a button that says End Stream.
Oh,
I was
yes.
thinking how handy that would be at midnight. You know, I'm up in the middle of the night, and I had a lot of water, because sometimes...
I sure would love an end stream button.
Goes on
Yes.
forever. But
I don't think it's healthy to cut it off midstream. Just let it go. It's natural.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And don't cross the streams.
Officer?
Well, you got to be really good friends.
No.
Will, did you call me a Muppet?
Yeah, the way you were dancing. Oh, it's really Charlie Brown Christmas special dance is what you were doing.
Well, Muppet works too, but yes.
Yeah,
I
Muppets
was
dance like that too.
trying to clarify what you were saying there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you know that.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
do.
compliment. I love Muppets.
I take it as a compliment. That's high compliment.
Hey, on today's show, we're going to be speaking about a number of current news stories related to 1980s media, including Beetlejuice, the Beetlejuice sequel, What They Didn't Change. Oh, yes. We got a hair metal documentary coming from Paramount Plus, I think it is. There's a trailer for a new horror movie that you'd believe is straight out of the 1980s. We've also got the trailer for the new Terminator anime, which I was cold on when we talked about it, and I think maybe I'm interested now.
I am.
Speaking of the Terminator, James Cameron just said in an interview that it's getting harder to make sci-fi because science keeps happening. Yes, is the easiest thing. Right?
The relentless forward progression.
Yeah, I'm curious if you guys agree because I'm not sure where I land, but we could chat about that. Hey, a couple of announcements real quick. I want to remind you folks, please, if you want. I just switched it up emotionally there. Hey, come see us in Oaks, PA, September 7th and 8th at RetroCon.
Yep.
We're going to be there hanging out. Come say hello. Find us. If you don't, hey, message us. We'll find you. We'll get you a sarsaparilla, one of those, truck indoor food trucks that has the, the cups with the metal. You know what I'm talking about?
Right,
it's
the big mugs
Pennsylvania?
that you refill with all the different cream sodas and root beers and stuff.
Yep. Get you one of those and say hi and give a high five.
Sarsaparilla.
But
To
also,
clang our mugs together in a very kind of Viking way.
yes, right,
Arr! Clang, and half of it splashes out in a cartoon,
right. And then I'm sucking it out of my shirt because the drink costs $15.
Don't waste it.
Before Cat
No,
reminds me
refills
again.
are free.
Oh,
Why don't you
son
buy the
of a-
mug?
Why
It's
did
like-
I do the shirt thing then?
Clank
Because I didn't
away.
want you to waste it.
Okay.
Why do I use softener? Yuck. But also on September 7th, which is the Saturday of that weekend at 10:45 a.m. Yes, that's right. The prime time hour of 10:45 a.m. John will be we're going to roll John in on his bed from the hotel. But we're going to be doing it on the upstroke, so that's good luck, right? Anyway, we're going to be doing a panel. We're going to be talking about something from the 1980s. It's a mystery.
To us even.
Yes. Gotta get that. I gotta submit that soon, though. But yeah.
Or it might be a mystery to everyone.
Right. We're gonna make it up as we go.
Right. They'll erroneously misprint 1980s Now Murder Mystery. And No, that's not what I meant by mystery. God, is
But
now.
you could also come and see the stars of much of our beloved pop culture from the 70s and 80s, including Lee Majors, the bionic man himself, is going to be there. Why does that not sound like the right name? Lee Majors. That's his name, right?
That's his name?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the bionic man.
You're thinking of Colt Seavers, perhaps.
Oh, you know what? I am. Because he played Colt Seavers. In the Fall Guy. So yeah, he's both of those. And also, but speaking of the Bionic Man, you could also meet the Bionic Woman. Lindsay Wagner is going to be there too. So that's a great pairing.
Yes.
Covers a lot of pop culture from the 70s and 80s.
I had her action figure.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
super
Yep.
cool.
Yes. Loved taking the little bionics in and out. And she had on a blue jumpsuit
Right,
with
I
a little
remember that.
patch on it. And it tied. There was a little tie.
Like a hospital
And-
gown. Yeah.
At some point, she lost a foot.
Oh,
Like on
my.
purpose? Was like a bionic foot? Or?
I'm sure it was accidental.
Oh,
Oh,
Maybe the dog was involved.
we can rebuild her.
She
I was
needed-
it was so unfortunate that like the Steve Austin action figure had a headquarters and a rocket ship and a backpack. And I remember that she got like a bionic beauty salon or
Yeah.
something that you could get.
a kitchen.
What?
Probably.
Is it like
I don't
bionic
remember.
makeup she's putting on? Boop, 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 boop. The lipstick,
There was a kitchen, but she
little
couldn't
blush.
get out of it.
I'm sure I cut her hair. I probably was doing
Oh.
something like that.
Oh. How did
And-
you
and
cut
her
her
foot.
hair? And yeah.
I used to cut my doll's hair all the time.
She was just trimming her feet a little, and then she got
Yeah.
overzealous.
You want a little off the bottom too?
Getting her toenails. Oh
Oh, whoops. Nope. Good news and bad news about the toenail problem, Lindsay.
Yeah. Speaking of the wonderful pairings from that era, though, come and see Lance Guest and Catherine Mary Stewart from Last Starfighter.
That's right.
no. Yes.
Awesome.
And bonus pairing, you can see Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney from the Night of the Comet.
Right.
It's actually Night of the Comet, not the Night of
Night
the
of-
Comet.
Night of the Comet. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
watched
yeah, they
that
just
recently.
announced Kelly's going to be there too, so that's super cool.
Wow. That
You're a
is
fan
super
of
cool.
either or both films, so you can get that. Oh, and the other announcement. Hey, listen for our chat with Catherine Mary Stewart later this week. We talked to her in anticipation of being there with her live at Oaks, PA at RetroCon. She's got some other cons coming up too, and I'm going to be sure and include links for all those in the show notes so you can see her. If you can't see her in Pennsylvania, she and Lance are going to be at some other convention in the in the East Coast somewhere about there in October as well. But look in the notes. But I don't remember who's down there. I promise. All right. Hey, enough about all that. Let's get caught up on 1980s.
I think you said nerds.
Nerds!
1980s nerds.
Every week, right? Last week was nudes.
Oh, yes.
Now we get nerds. And I see, I should say hi to folks, right? We should say hi to folks.
Hi, folks.
Yeah.
Let's see who. Look, if you're joining us on the live right now, we don't know if you're there unless you say hi. So let's see who can we see is there.
We've
Big
had
Funny
lots of-
Giant.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever seen Big Funny Giant before, but hello. Karen's there. Owl's here. Darth. Hey, Darth. Who am I missing?
Karis? Yeah.
Karis.
Chad, I see.
Yes.
Brandon is not here tonight. I just needed to
Do
point
you
that
have a
out.
list and you're checking them off? How did you?
Yeah, I know. I was given a heads up from Brandon that he would not be able to
Oh.
attend tonight. He's at a
Okay.
concert, which is a great excuse to not be here. He's at a Smashing
Says
Pumpkins
Kat.
concert.
As an educator, she's taking role, like doing attendance.
Right,
All right,
Chad.
Chad is here. Very good. Big Funny Giant. Hi. Right.
And Brandon gets an excused absence. Bullshit.
He's at a concert.
All right. Hey, this week in 1980s news, per Variety, there's two things that the Beetlejuice sequel didn't change. They wouldn't change. They couldn't change, per Michael Keaton. Because we've reported before, and you folks know this, right? Keaton is back as the eponymous ghost I'm the ghost with the most, babe. And Tim Burton's long-awaited sequel, Beetlejuice, which is opening in September. It's almost here.
So excited.
Right around the
so
corner.
excited.
Like a week or less than 2 weeks. Yeah, that's awesome.
And
Can't wait.
Wait. Uh-oh. Is that the same weekend as RetroCon?
Yes, it is. It
Oh
is.
my goodness.
Right.
Oh,
All right. Hey,
Yes.
come to
Hey.
RetroCon, and you could let's go see Beetlejuice together.
together.
Announcement:
Oh my gosh.
Beetlejuice.
That's a great idea.
They're also showing Last Starfighter that weekend at the theater near the
course they
convention
are.
hall.
They oughta.
So I'd go see it if you guys want. If we have nothing else to do, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. I've never seen it on the big screen. I'd love to.
As a cat can see it for the.
I've seen it twice. I've seen it 2 times.
Now, regarding Beetlejuice, I've got to tell you guys, when they first announced this was going to happen, I was not that excited. I was very dubious, skeptical, especially because, 30 years earlier, we knew they were going to make a sequel, or they wanted to make a sequel as Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii or some nonsense like that. That's what Tim Burton wanted to do. And so I was like, all right, I lost faith in even the guy who created this. But with each little announcement, with each screen grab they give us, with each trailer, I'm getting more excited about it. It seems I'm having more faith. And announcements like the thing we're going to talk about in a moment here is, gives me confidence. It might barely be good.
I think it will be. I have faith.
And feeding directly into what I know you're about to talk about, as I see the trailers, I see them, and other than knowing the age of the actors, I'm like, this could have been a 90s sequel almost when you look at it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't look, you'll talk about it. It doesn't look like you expect a 21st century movie to look in a good way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's one of the things. And part of that, as we know, as they've talked about before, is they, Tim Burton and Michael Keaton were both interested in keeping things as practical as possible as far as effects. I saw Michael Keaton in an interview recently where I said to him, look, can we use like CGI, like very little if we needed it all. And that was a goal. So yeah, I agree, John. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, in a
Anyway,
good way.
Keaton also recently told GQ magazine that one of his stipulations for returning as the character was that they didn't beef up his screen time. It turns out that the character is in the original film from 1988 is only on screen for about 17 minutes.
Isn't that
It's
wild?
so weird
Yeah.
to think about that.
I
Yeah.
do recall the most recent time I watched it, which was in the last couple of years. I took my daughter and her friend to see the musical, and I don't think her friend had seen the movie, so we watched it. It was something like that, and it did strike me. I was like, because I love Beetlejuice, I've loved it since the first. I love Michael Keaton, and I was like, where's more Beetlejuice? I didn't remember that it's such a small percentage of the film. Anyway, in spite of that, now that the character is very popular, in particular because of that musical, it seems, Keaton was smart, I think, in saying to Burton, hey, one thing is we can't just put me more in the movie because the character's more popular now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can put the brakes on. How did I not know
Yeah.
you got to see the Beetlejuice musical finally? Is this very recently?
No. It was I don't know. It was last year, I think, actually.
Oh, was it? Okay, I didn't know that you saw it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we didn't get a chance to talk about it.
You've seen it, John, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, John's
yes.
seen
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what I remembered. I did not remember that Will saw it.
I didn't know that you'd seen it.
Oh, it's so great, right?
Yeah. You still have Back to the Future on me, but yeah, we'll
No,
see
I think we're
Beetlejuice
neck and
now.
neck. Yeah.
Amazingly, I do too.
Yeah, you do.
The
I need Beetlejuice.
I think I saw some TikToks recently that come up where it's like younger people. I want to say Gen Z. I don't know about the how the generations work. I think it's Gen Z, and it's something about Gen Z learning that Beetlejuice is not the hero because they grew up on the play where they grew up on the cartoons in the 90s where they're best friends going on
Right.
adventures.
Yeah.
And then the musical's more like the movie in the sense that he is the antagonist, but he's such a lovable and present character throughout the musical. He's got music numbers all to himself. It's if you go back and watch the original film, it's like, oh, this guy's an asshole. He's
Yes.
they make light of the fact in the musical that he's trying to marry a teenager, but in
Yeah.
the movie he's trying to marry a 15-year-old.
Right.
Yep. He's rude and crude and misogynistic and proud of it.
Yes. Lecherous. All kinds of things.
Yep.
Yeah, and
All
so
the best qualities you want in a ghost.
yeah, and it goes with the most, babe. Yeah, and so that's why. And then keeping him with that was one of the stipulations. That was the additional stipulation. So one was keeping him to a minimum, but the other one was just that. I'm sorry. Let me take it back. So the first stipulation with regard to time, Keaton says The idea was, quote, no, you can't load it up with Beetlejuice. That'll kill it. I think the Beetlejuice character doesn't drive the story as much as he did in the first one. He's more part of the storyline in this one as opposed to the first one, which is a case of this thing. He's trying to be vague now. This thing comes in and drives the movie a little bit. So I think he's saying you're not going to see him a whole lot, just like in the first movie, but there is something related to his character that I think we've known from other articles that may help drive the plot. It's his ex-wife shows up, and we're not sure what happened, but they're trying to figure it out, as I recall.
Well, like with Jurassic Park, I mean, part of it was the build up to seeing the dinosaurs, you know? And so, look, there are going to be dinosaurs, relax, and there's going to be Beetlejuice. Let us build up to it so that when you reveal him, now we've seen him in the trailer, you had to show, but I mean, in the context of the film, yeah. You don't start with like, hey, everybody, Beetlejuice, welcome to the movie, right? This is not Deadpool, right? You need to build up to his appearance so he has the impact, because when he's there, that's when chaos starts. So you don't want that to be the constant. Then there's no range.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that reminds me that once again it's time to play.
You gotta be kidding.
Oh yes.
I've got 5 movies here,
Oh no.
and I'll give you the movie, and you tell me. I want you to rank as far as screen time goes, which has the antagonist, and I'll tell you the villain appears the most in.
Oh, okay. The
And I'll give you some time,
antagonist
'cause I
with
know
the
I'm
mostest.
giving you. What's that?
The antagonist with the mostest.
Undiagnosed with the Moses. Oh, boy, here you go. Maybe you want to jot these down. I don't know. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here it is. Darth Vader.
In which movie?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Just saying.
We'll see. Yeah.
Like it's Phantom Menace, he's in there a bunch.
No. I'm talking trilogies here.
Darth Vader, not Anakin
Darth
Skywalker.
Vader in A New Hope, let's say.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Let's say. That's what it is.
Let's pretend.
The shark from Jaws.
Bruce.
Bruce, yeah. Godzilla.
Okay.
And that could be in any Godzilla film, really.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it turns out he's in it about the same amount of time per film.
Okay.
Okay.
What didn't I give you here? Alien in Alien, the Xenomorph in the first film.
Xenomorph. Okay.
Oh.
And Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh.
So we went a little before the 80s and a little after there.
Oh my gosh.
So we got to put these in order now?
Yeah,
Is
let's
that
see,
like
who's
the
the
most
most?
to the least?
Yeah, or the least to the most.
Oh boy.
Some of them are going to be
Boy,
tied, quite
Cat.
honestly. But
John.
Yeah.
I.
So we got Darth Vader,
Uh-huh.
Jaws, Godzilla, Xenomorph, and Hannibal Lecter.
And Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So let me. I would tend to. Go ahead.
I was gonna say for some reason I feel like Darth Vader might be the most.
Okay. I feel like the shark might be the least.
Okay.
I mean, we see barrels way more than we see a shark. You know what I mean?
Facts.
they should have called it barrels. It's a barrel.
Barrel.
I kind of feel like that's late in the movie.
Yeah.
Xenomorph is kind of in the middle. I don't know what about Hannibal Lecter. Where is he?
Dun, 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 dun. You know, I feel like we do see him a fair amount. And when Will said
Maybe
his
second?
name, yeah, like I thought, oh, is that more than Darth Vader? Like I feel like he's close to Darth Vader.
And I have a feeling that Alien is toward like number 4 maybe. I'm feeling like this Xenomorph specifically, right? Not the face huggers, but
Yeah,
So you think
Xenomorph.
Godzilla is more than? Oh wait, the Xenomorph. So the Xenomorph is the adult version.
is the big one that has the double mouth
Oh.
and punches you with his baby teeth.
Yeah, that's
His
more
baby
tied
knife.
with Jaws, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Four.
So-
Okay,
so-
I like. Yeah.
I-
Least Jaws, I agree.
Okay. At
And
least
then-
Jaws.
Jaws, okay.
And then up
Then
above that, you
Xenomorph?
said the Xenomorph. Yeah, yeah.
The next one is Xenomorph. Okay.
Yep. And then
Is number
Godzilla.
4. The number 3 I think is Gojira.
Gojira!
And number 2 I think is Hannibal.
Yeah. Yep.
And then 1 is Vader.
Hannibal, and then
As the
Vader.
most.
As the mostest.
Scene, mostest screen time.
As the Dark Lord with the mostest, babe.
Let me just write this down entirely here.
Get it all written down so he can give us 5 buzzers at once.
You guys are so close.
I want to hear some paper shuffling. Oh, excellent.
You guys were so close.
Were we so close, but clearly not?
All
Right.
here you go. Alien and Shark are actually tied. They were both in their respective films for only about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
At the bottom?
Good call,
At the
John.
top, the least.
So
amount.
they are
Least.
least amount?
Least
Okay.
amount of
So they're basically
screen time.
tied for 5th. There is no 4th, is what you're saying. But I'm
Yeah,
going
you
to
wanna
count
do it
that
that way?
as
Yeah.
I'm going to count that a win. That's a win.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you nailed that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's where you go off a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Because the next least most, I guess number 3, as we go
Yeah.
up towards the most, right? Is that what we're doing?
Right.
Is Darth Vader.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
was in A
God.
New
Even
Hope
though
for
you
about-
see him like right at the outset too.
only in
But
A
then he's
New
not
Hope.
there for a long while,
Yeah.
Oh, but gosh, he makes a big impression.
I
He's there
guess.
about 12 minutes. And interestingly enough, though, across the entire trilogy, he's only in the entire trilogy 34 minutes.
Really?
So he averages about 11 minutes of the film.
I would have said like at least an hour.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy.
Oh no, I put him around 20. Yeah, I mean he's fully of, a quarter of that film in my mind,
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. All right, so we screwed that one up.
The next most,
Well, I
least?
led you astray.
whatever. Number 4 is Gojira, with
2.
about 15 minutes on average per film.
Okay.
And not Vader. And Hannibal's in about 16. So that was close. Those two.
All right, so Kat, actually, we just have Vader in the wrong slot, but everyone else,
Yeah.
comparatively, we had correct. We were way off on Vader, but we had Lecter as our number
Yeah,
2, but
you
he's
just-
number 1.
If you put him in and bumped everybody down, you would have been perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And what about Beetlejuice? Where does he fall in there? What did you say? Like 7 minutes or whatever you said?
17 minutes, actually. Yeah.
17
So,
minutes.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's actually the most out of the ones we just mentioned. Yeah.
Wow. Which is so funny because here we are marveling at how little time he has, but he has
It goes
the
with the most screen time, babe.
Marcus says that I mentioned Beetlejuice having seen it in podcast, John, and suggests you should pay the fuck attention. All right, I added the last part. That was me editorializing.
Oh, what?
He also says that, wait, Beetlejuice isn't going to do the in-sync dance at the start of the movie? Oh, it would be smart if they went ahead and did some kind of thing, though, right? Some kind of dance number. Huh. I feel like it's out there what happens at the beginning, but I don't remember offhand. Big Funny Giant says, Beetlejuice, Beetle, no!
Easy.
Karen says the Progressive commercial? I don't get that.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Who's in the Progressive commercial, Karen?
I don't get it. All right. Anyway, hey, back to this. So yeah, the other stipulation that Keaton had for the sequel is that to make sure that Beetlejuice didn't get a sensitivity check in order to keep him up with their current times. He said, quote, Beetlejuice debauched sicko in 1988 remains a debauched sicko in our more enlightened era. You don't want to touch that because it's like you go, well, it's a new year and this thing would now act like that. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Beetlejuice is timeless.
Yeah.
And frankly, if anything, he's been undead now for even longer, so he's even more pissed off. So why would he soften?
Good
It would
point.
make no sense.
And he is no interested in avoiding hurting someone's feelings or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. At Me Too means nothing to him.
Yes, right. He is the Me Too.
He is.
He is the
Yeah.
happy.
Right. You too, babe.
In the musical also, he everybody gets touched on. Wait, not that sounds awful. Everybody, is in his crosshairs in the music. John's getting touched on. Everybody in the musical, the Beetlejuice character is crass, and they cross his lines, and it's a blast. It's a blast.
Yes.
The sequel opens in theater September 6th, John. Yeah, there we talked about that. Yeah, it's the same weekend. Anyway, just goes to show you don't need to have a lot of screen time to make an impression, like you said,
Yeah.
All right, hey, another 19...
It's like Kat. She's sometimes not here and yet makes a huge impression on the show, even when not present.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's like I feel like she was in lots of shows. No, turns out she was only in 17% of the shows. And yet,
Right.
Oh,
Yes, that's right. You got it.
I
And in
missed
the other
3.
73%, she's with Brandon at a concert.
I might just go find out where he is right now
Yes,
and join him.
exactly. I'm not sure you're here.
are you AI?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Say something only Kat would know.
Yes.
That's
yes.
it.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
And people are falling asleep.
I was trying to keep my yeses really short, so I do not put anyone to sleep.
Yeah.
Did you notice?
Yes. Reclip. Yes.
Yep. Same loud. You wake people up. Per Ultimate Classic Rock and other 1980s news, Paramount Plus is producing a documentary that smells of Aquanet and regret. Paramount Plus has released the official trailer for the upcoming docuseries Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal.
Can we start with bonus points for putting an umlaut on the O? Just to right out of the gate. Second letter in the title of the documentary.
Yes.
All right. I didn't notice that. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, bonus points. Thank you, Netflix.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, Hulu, somebody.
Yeah. I enjoyed the hair metal bands, but only to the extent, for the most part, I heard them on the radio. Except for Def Leppard, which I talked about before. I did have their first albums on cassette.
Right.
I don't think I ever got a record, but I had them all on cassette. The first 2 or 3 albums. And Quiet Riot, too. I had Quiet Riot's, Mental Health, I think it was. Yeah.
Yes. I had no hair metal band music. I just watched them on MTV.
I think, like, all the hair metal I listened to was like the bubblegum hair metal. Like it wouldn't be considered. I'm talking like, I don't know, Striper, Poison, Bon Jovi. You know, they were a little more poppy metal, if you would say. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call them metal, really. They're just the kind
They're
of...
hair bands. They're hair bands. Yeah. Not hair metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say even to some extent, Quiet Riot and Def Leppard are not, not Wasp by any means.
Right.
Good point.
But that said,
metal.
all of those bands seem to be featured in this upcoming documentary. It's based on a book by Richard Beanstalk. Let's see, Richard Beanstalk. Based on a book by Richard Beanstalk and Tom Beaujour from 2021 of the same name. And it promises an in-depth look at the 80s hard rock explosion. As I teased just a moment ago, that features hair metal icons from Poison, Quiet Riot, Skid Row, Wasp, and many more. Per the official description, it says, quote, go inside the 80s hair metal phenomenon that enthralled generations of music lovers and still influences culture today. Right,
Yeah.
that there.
Clearly.
Directed by Jeff Tremaine. He's the guy who directed the Jackass films and The Dirt, speaking of heavy metal. And maybe that's why the O has the umlaut, like Motley Crue does.
Yes.
The 3-part series showcases the notorious wild 80s hard rock phenomenon and features interviews with those who lived it. I thought in the trailer you see a former Guns N' Roses and Great White manager Alan Niven says, was it nothing but a good time? Not the fucking life I lived.
The trailer they made it look like what you want to see out of that. Like, it's not just like the glamour and what we already saw. It's peeking behind the curtain at these guys. And they're like, oh my God, I had to get my life back together. It was crazy. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's what I want to see out of this documentary. And it's in there. So that's
somebody
great.
does die, right? Somebody's
Certainly.
brought back in a
more
box.
than one, I'm sure, but one highlighted in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's rock and roll, baby, right? It's, what is it?
Hey.
Jim Morrison said something about living fast, dying young, leaving a beautiful corpse or something like that.
No, this one goes to 11.
There you go. Thank you, Nigel. Nothing but good time. It turns out Nothing but good time is actually the second hard rock, 80s hard rock docuseries from Paramount. Because last summer they had I Wanna Rock, the 80s metal dream.
I would like to see that. I missed it.
You could tell us all about it.
Okay.
Give a report.
I'll put it on my list.
There's plenty of I know John recommended some documentaries to us, and still haven't watched those. There's some others. I just, oh my God, I feel so behind in my book. And,
Who Let the Dogs Out? I'm telling you. You
Oh.
watch it twice. It's so good.
I forgot
want
to put that
know
one on.
the answer. I do want to know the answer. I'm glad they finally
Everybody-
figured it out.
Everybody wants to know.
Yeah. Who? And I keep saying who?
No, seriously.
John
Who let the
never
damn
tells
dogs out?
me.
Yippee-yi-yo.
The docuseries premieres on September 17th exclusively on Paramount Plus. Another thing you got to have to watch stuff. It's getting to the point where I'm paying more than I had for cable.
Right?
John?
Mr. Reddick, we'd like to have a word with you. Are you in there?
No habla inglés. Mr. John, move.
Stay with an umlaut.
Mr. John with an umlaut?
Sorry.
I'm John with an umlaut?
Totally different John. It's
I'm
John.
John. John. Karen says, my younger brother's first CD was Whitesnake, the one with Here I Go and This Is Love.
Yes.
Is this love?
Yep.
Is
Isn't it crazy that some of the hair metal and hair bands' biggest hits were the ballads that weren't hair metal?
Yeah, you're right.
Good point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like YouTubers that didn't take a lesson. Like, this video did great. It's like, we're not doing any more of those.
Yeah.
That's not what we like doing. Well, that's what people want to listen to. Yeah.
What?
I'm making my own stuff.
Yeah, and probably, to your point, any of the songs that made the top 40, Billboard 100, they weren't metal.
Softer songs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
More even if it wasn't entirely melodic, it often started or had a melodic bridge, so that it was like an entryway point for people that weren't metal fans. But they're like, well, this part I like. Then it gets kind of crazy, but then it goes back to the melody. So it was more accessible, I think, to a broader audience. Is probably, as you said, that's why it hit the charts.
Yeah. Could even be a prom theme, you know? Could sneak by the censors there. Yeah.
Did you guys have, I don't know if this is a male thing or just me or just the 80s or whatever, have this, I don't know, feeling or need in your teens to feel like you were a rebel, a loner, as Pee Wee says in his Big Adventure to Dottie? I think about Here I Go Again. It was, for me at one point in high school, it was like, this is my anthem. Here I go again on my own. Screw everybody and girls.
No, I didn't have that.
It's just me. No.
Going down the only road you've ever known in your parents' minivan.
Yeah.
On your own.
Yes, on my own. No.
Yeah.
Marcus recommends another documentary. Quiet Riot. Well, now you're here. There's no way back. All right. Jeez, add it to the list.
I gotta add that to the list now.
That's Kat's list. Whew. All right. Hey, another 1980s news as reported by Joe Blow. Frankie. Oh, you know what I just realized? I was supposed to load a bunch of things and I didn't load them.
Whoops.
See, can I do them all in one shot?
This is where John and I have to do something entertaining while you
Except you just called it out again, Kat. And now stand by. Here's the part where Kat and I will fill time with something you don't even notice because Will is busy loading up his soundboard.
And now I will pull a rabbit from a hat, but don't worry, the rabbit's actually concealed in the table below.
If you were concerned, Kat, have you still not seen Deadpool Wolverine? Have you still not made it out?
Still not.
What are you doing?
I'm
What are you doing?
figure out when I can go. I'm hoping this weekend. High hopes to check it
Because
out.
you're behind. I mean, Will's seen it
am.
thrice. I've seen it twice. You've seen it
So I need to see it.
zeroths.
Zeros, yes. I need to see it once so we can have 3, 2, 1.
Action.
I am hoping very much to see it this weekend. We were watching Deadpool 2, right?
So you're doing your Deadpool homework, preparing yourself so you can follow the narrative.
Accidentally, my daughter was watching it and then we got sucked in.
I'll do it.
Accidentally watching it. Whoa! Is that
Watch-
Deadpool
Damn it,
2?
I'm watching a movie.
Whoa!
Oh, sorry. I dropped my eclair.
How many? Follow my finger. Okay. How many fingers am I holding? Deadpool 2? This is a way of counting.
Oh, I'm watching it.
All right, here we go. Hey, as reported by Joe Blow in other 1980s news, Frankie Freako is a tribute to Gremlins 2 and Ghoulies 3. Somehow this made it under our radar all this time because I think I would have been curious about this movie.
Much sooner.
Yeah. So a full trailer has been released for Steven Kostanski's Tiny Terrors horror film, Frankie Freako, which now has an October release date. Apparently it's been a year since we first heard that production had wrapped on the horror comedy. Now per Shout Studios as it's written, the, quote, commemoration of various practical FX-led projects, including Gremlins 2, The New Batch, and Ghoulies Go to College, end quote, will premiere in select theaters on October 4th. And along with the announcement, they released this trailer, which I'm going to share with you guys.
Awesome.
Let's see. Frankie Freako.
Connor had it all. The perfect job.
Man. Hey.
The perfect girl.
It looks like an 80s film. I mean, even the quality.
The perfect life.
You know anything about this Frankie Freako guy? He's like a little gremlin that likes to party.
You shouldn't call numbers like that.
Until one day, things got Freako.
That was very 80s as well. The phone book.
Ready for what?
To party, my man.
Yes! I'm ready to party!
Here we
Oh my god.
We're here to help you loosen up. We're gonna party hard, and then we'll be on our way. Time to get freako!
Shamadoo.
Listen, you little freaks. I'm gonna make you pay!
Is everything all right? You sound stressed.
Ooh.
Oh no. Don't pick it up! Frankie! What is going on?
Ridiculous.
They failed
It's got some of those painted on effects.
When the world is in peril,
Where are we?
No more games, Frankie. No one runs from me. You're mine.
don't be a hero.
This is bad.
I believe in you.
Let's boogie.
Be a freako.
He's got a little freako.
Frankie Freako.
President Munch needs a new concubine.
He's a keeper. Ow!
Oh, man.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. I feel like I actually do want to see this because it looks hilarious. And so much 80s movie stuff happening in there. So many visuals.
It goes back and forth between that looks like a well-made movie, that looks like a train wreck, that looks like a well-made movie. It has all the goofy stuff you'd expect in a low-budget, poorly produced film, but then you look at it like, well, this is well put together. And so I'm like, how am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to be looking forward to it or apprehensive about it? That's got me curious at the very least. It's full of puppets. That doesn't hurt.
Oh, no, yeah, it doesn't
That,
hurt at
that
all.
Karen points out look like boglins. Yeah, they do kind of look like
Boglins.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Frankie seems like, does he become like a hero at the end? What was that? I guess we'll have to watch it to
don't
find
know,
out.
He only has 7 minutes of screen time, it turns out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this look, they mentioned the Gremlins and Ghoulies. Those are the terrible, awful horror films that I was renting in the 1980s, and I loved them for how, terrible they looked. And like John was saying, it's this mix of, like, even in the 80s, right? You could have just a beautiful shot in one of these films and then cut to a terrible effect. And it just kind of, I don't know, we went with it. It didn't,
Yeah.
it was how these films were made, so we accepted
Part
it.
of our suspension of disbelief. It's like, well, that doesn't look real, but the movies, that's what I accept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just did. Yeah.
And it does seem like maybe as we've evolved, not only our taste, but our sensibilities have changed in such a way where we're willing to accept. And maybe that's why you're having this disconnect, John, where you're like, I don't know, is this a good looking film or a terrible looking film? But I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know something I just realized watching the trailer a second time here, because I wasn't sure, like, it looks old. Is it a period piece? But if they're calling it a 900 number,
Yes.
it's got to be set in late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s, right?
Yes. And there's a phone book. He's flipping open a phone book.
Phone book. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the TV looked like maybe a cabinet.
CRT. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And speaking of that, the first thing, and I wonder if folks, other folks thought this as well, because the director, the creator of this film, Kostansky, said, they told Bloody, discussing that, quote, the Little Monster movie is a subgenre beloved by horror fans. Franchises like Critters, Ghoulies, and Puppet Master, the bad guys look like stuff from the Puppet Master films, are still immensely popular despite there being no recent entries in the franchise. Frankie Freako is my vision for the next Tiny Monster franchise. brought to life through a combination of modern visual effects as well as old school practical puppeteering techniques, end quote. I write all that because, among these movies he references, he doesn't reference the thing that this reminded me most of, which was a 900 number from the 1980s for a character named Frankie Freako.
Oh.
And here's the party freak. Frankie Freako. Dancing new sensation. Grabbing the nation. Doing the freak. Call now. 1-900-490-FREAK. Join the party. The fast and easy way. To hear what's scamming from New York to LA. Call now. 1-900-490-FREAK.
John, don't call it now, John. John, don't call it now.
Party till you drop. Dialing here the action.
I think you guys remember this?
1-900-490-FREAK.
No.
$2 a call.
No, you don't remember Frankie Freako.
No, that was astonishing.
I like that dance.
Yeah,
Pick that up.
Yeah.
So you
I
used
know
to
where you
see
got
that, Will?
it from. Yeah, so this was a phone number created by a company called LA Toys. The guy who was behind it created this phone number to capitalize on the popularity of 900 numbers, and also had plans on having a toy line and other merchandise, which didn't at the time materialize. Although now he has some T-shirts and things you could get to take advantage to if you're a big fan of Frankie Freako. But they aired these during MTV. So that's when, if you're watching any MTV program, I would see it most in the afternoon, maybe late at night. It would come on quite a bit. And apparently, I didn't know this. I didn't know what the purpose of the 900 number is. And when you look at that commercial, you can't possibly know.
That's exactly what I was like. If it's call and talk to Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, I know what that is, right? Call me now because I'm ready for talk. You have one of those, but this is just I'm a freak. Call my number. I'm a freak. Call. Well, what are we getting out of it? What's going to happen?
Yeah,
I was hoping Will could tell us.
Yeah,
I was hoping he called.
Yeah, I could tell you. In part, what it was is you had the opportunity to record voice messages that other folks could then call in and hear. And it seemed kind of arbitrary. One of the things that people, John's
like a
yawning.
podcast.
Yeah, what, yawning at the podcast? Yeah.
That's literally what we do now. Is we record this so other people can then dial up on the internet and hear it later.
That's true. You're right.
1-900-1980s now. Call. Here's my dance.
Maybe that's a gimmick. We should make it sound like people are dialing in and getting a shitty phone number. Maybe that's our. Maybe then we'll suddenly get listeners.
Go dial my rotary phone. 1-900.
Yeah. But you could, one of the popular things that people did is they would do rap songs. So they record themselves doing a rap, and then you could call in and hear like the most popular raps that people recorded.
It's
so it was
like
TikTok.
Early audio TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There is some kind of, when I see these puppets, like that one in particular, and the music, I don't know, there's a visceral experience for me. And it's not just nostalgic, although it reminds me of the feeling I had back then. But it isn't a good one. It really kind of creeps me out and weirds me out. I know it's a puppet. I know it's rubber. It's on a green screen shaking around. But I don't know. Something freaks me out about that thing.
You know what else it is, Will? I don't know. I'm sure you're aware of this, whether you've seen it or not. It's kind of Meet the Feeblesy.
Yeah, wait, I do know.
Familiar with Meet the Feebles?
What is? I've heard of that. What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
I can't remember.
So before he did Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson did a borderline softcore pornographic puppet movie called Meet the Feebles.
Okay.
It's effectively like a dirty, gritty Muppet show. All these puppets have a show in a theater they do. But they're all like screwing each other and they're hooked on drugs, but they're all puppets. And they have that kind of foam rubber latexy looking collection of puppets involved in the show. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you haven't seen it,
No.
keep it that way.
You may want to get yourself checked out. I've got puppet gonorrhea.
Yeah, I remember. I know it by name. I never knew. I don't think I ever knew what it was. That sounds. Nah.
It's one of Peter Jackson's first ever films, and it opened the door to Lord of the Rings, apparently.
But it slammed the door in puppet porn because people are like, we do not want that. Board that door up.
No crossover with hobbits.
He slipped through.
I'm not putting my hand in that again. The puppet. I meant the puppet. The puppet.
Oh, I know what you meant. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because other things went into the puppet at that point.
Well, I mean, it could be worse, but
yes, it could be. Yes. Hey, another 1980s news per Deadline. Netflix has dropped the official trailer for Terminator 0. Now, we talked about it a little while ago.
Oh.
We didn't know much about it. We had some images that were confusing to me. It looked more anime than Terminator, and I was kind of put off by that.
Yeah.
John was ready to watch it, but nothing
Now
was
he's not,
available yet.
I don't think.
What's that?
Now he's not. Make it
I don't know. We're going to find out, yeah. The series, which is the latest iteration in the Terminator franchise, premieres on Judgment Day, August 29th, which turns out it's the same date in 1997 as revealed in the second Terminator film, that the AI network known as Skynet becomes self-aware and usurps its human masters. I don't know. Do we need to play the trailer? I've got it here. You guys have watched it. I wanted to play the one thing to set up the other thing. I guess we don't have to.
Go ahead.
Yeah? You want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the live audience and those playing it along at home.
Kat.
I watched it. I did my homework.
This isn't what you think it is.
It's a bridge.
You can't see it yet. But you've been on a collision course your entire life. There's no going back. Not really. It will never, ever stop. There's only one thing standing in between you and him. Me.
I thought that was the teaser. There was another one.
That was the wrong trailer, you're saying?
I don't know.
It's the one I saw.
Is that the
They
one
had a
you meant
teaser
to watch?
earlier, and then there's this trailer. But did you see something else beyond that?
Yeah. There was
really?
some.
You saw
Yeah.
one with the...
There was another one that had different things happening, and then the one you just showed us was down at the bottom, calling it a teaser. I mean, I guess they're all teasers, but there was another one too. Yeah. But John is
This thing is tapioca pudding. It's just like I like the taste, but I can't handle the texture. You know, it's like I want to see more Terminator.
Yeah.
But there's something about anime that the 5 frames per second and the giant eyes and the over dramatic reactions to things that it's like I want to enjoy it, but it gets gritty in my teeth kind of thing. You know, it's like it's going to be difficult for me to watch, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was going to turn me off, but I don't know. There's I think the imagery that we saw, it has me semi-interested at least, because some of it's homages to some of the other films. Some of it seems to be, again, you're seeing little images go by in a split second, but some of it seems to be maybe building on those things from earlier films, which is intriguing to me. Like I said before, like John's saying, there's something about the quality of anime. Not the quality. That sounds like a judgment. It's more like the style of anime that I generally don't care for, because I didn't grow up with that. Doesn't feel like part of my, being. But I think maybe I'll give this a shot, only because, again, maybe it's building on the lore in a way that may be interesting. It seems to be implied, or I'm inferring.
Also, you already have Netflix.
Yeah. I expect the lore to be built on. I know it's in universe, it's canonical, right? It's what they say. Did I understand right, Will? You said that actually now seeing the trailer, you're more looking forward to it, more apt to watch it even?
Yeah, more than I was, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I think
I might be the opposite. I want to see it so bad.
Good, Kat,
I'm more likely to see it because of the other trailer that is not this one. There was something about
the trailer
it.
for Terminator 2. I love Terminator 2.
That one looks great.
Yes.
I did not.
It was nearly live action. It was so convincing.
Yeah, we'll have to look up what you're talking about, Kat.
I'll find it and send it to you. It was there was something going on in there with the female protagonist, and there were other action scenes that I was like, all right. I feel like I'm more interested.
All right, I'm in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cut all this out and pretend like John and I didn't fuck up by watching the wrong thing.
No.
Or I'll leave it in. All right, whatever. Hey, yeah, no, but look, so there's certain imagery that makes you feel like it's, for me at least, that maybe it's a little deeper, it's a little more layered. If you think about the first Terminator, and even the second Terminator, the premise of the time travel, the science fiction behind it is pretty simple. I guess there's two things. There's the AI taking over, which is a concept that's been going on, for decades. You can go back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, this idea that we can create something that comes back and kills us.
Yes.
But then time travel, which, it had the idea that if you can go back to the past, you could change something in the future, which, it's iconic. But that's very simple in a sense. And some of the suggestions she's implying and some of the imagery, I thought, oh, maybe they found another way to add some layers, some color, some texture to it that, sort of tickles my, fancy for regard to that type of science fiction. But I don't know. And maybe bolstering that is this information that we have, is that according to Netflix, Terminator Zero takes place in 2 timelines, which again is not groundbreaking there in that sense for the franchise. Right. But it says 2022, a future war has raged for decades between the few human survivors and an endless army of machines. And in 1997, the AI known as Skynet gained self-awareness and began its war against humanity. It sounds like the old movies. Forget it. I'm out. Yeah, we talked about this already. It's the same movie. Never mind. There's no
covering the same stuff.
But this is, and the synopsis is kind of similar too. The only thing I don't think we talked about what it turns out. There's 2 AIs in this news story. All right, you know what? I'm talking myself out of this. It's like that Hollywood thing. You know what? Instead of having 1 villain in this movie, let's have 2. All right. I'm talking. We have the Joker and the Riddler. Right? You see, now it's better. But so
hear me out. What if Mr. Freeze also was in the film?
Yes, and Poison Ivy and Bane. Now that's a real example.
Exactly.
I should have done that. That was a good example. So this the hero that Kat was talking about. She is a resistance fighter played by Sonoya Mitsuno. She sent back in time to change the fate of humanity, it says, according to the official synopsis, arriving in 1997 to protect a scientist named Malcolm Lee, played by Andre Holland. Now, here's where it's a little different. It says that he's working to launch a new AI system, which is voiced by Rosario Dawson, designed to compete with Skynet. So, no, whatever. Just never mind. Let's watch it. John and I, we can find something else to watch. All right.
It's called Google Assistant.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever. Now, maybe... You know what? Now, I had one opinion talking about this next thing with James Cameron, but now I think I just changed that too. All right.
Uh-oh. Are you going to crumple that up too?
No, not necessarily.
That's our show, everyone.
No, we're done. Marcus says, John's kidding nobody. He will watch it. Maybe check it out a little bit. I don't know.
I'll try. I will try.
It's on Netflix. It's easy, right?
Yeah,
you don't have to get Paramount or whatever.
You don't need anybody knocking on your door asking you what you're doing or what streaming service you're using. Chad says, as much as I would like to see a new live action The Last Starfighter, might be good as an animated movie also, yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's no limitations then, right? You can just do whatever you want, conjure whatever you want. Well, I guess in film you could do that too, but maybe it's a little simpler once you're entirely in that animated world.
Yeah.
Finally, in 1980s news, as reported by The Guardian, James Cameron says Terminator 1 is obsolete. So,
John does not think so, perhaps. Them's fighting words.
Fisticuffs.
Nothing's obsolete for you, John, right?
Not Terminator, at least.
Not Terminator.
We'll just stop there. Yeah,
okay.
So earlier this month, accomplished director James Cameron was awarded Legends status by Disney, with the likes of Angela Bassett, Harrison Ford, and composer John Williams. And while he just turned 70, Cameron, who's an Oscar-winning director, certainly one of the most successful, probably by box office of our time, and also a technological pioneer, because much like George Lucas, when he ran into any kind of wall with regard to how do I put on screen the thing I envision, he just had somebody make it.
Yeah, let's invent that. Right. Why doesn't it exist yet?
So, and look, we're grateful for that, because it, just like ILM, it allowed a lot of other filmmakers to make their dreams come true on screen.
Yeah.
But even though he's of retirement age, he has no intention of slowing down. In a wide-ranging interview with The Guardian, Cameron discusses among other things, a new Terminator project in the threat of artificial intelligence. But he admits that writing science fiction is getting harder in the 21st century. So, all right. Blah, 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 blah. I hate when I feel like I'm just talking all the time. Because I don't want to hear myself
That's our favorite part.
Talking about putting people to sleep.
I want to hear you.
So October, look, again, this is the year for celebration. 1984 films came out 40 years ago. And again, I stand by this as a hill I'll die on, the best year for films, just from a quantitative, maybe, I guess it has to be qualitative also, but certainly quantity. We're talking dozens of films that are still important and popular today.
Like the ratio of quality to quantity is very high for that year. Yeah, I
still haven't figured out a metric to prove it, because every metric I've done, like I did on the show, months ago, just shows that I'm wrong. But whatever. Oh, no. But anyway, among those, in October, we've got the 40th anniversary of the first Terminator, because that was also released that year, and of course that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. By many accounts, it helped further cement his role as action superstar and hero throughout the rest of the decade. But he played a cybernetic assassin sent back in time from 2029, so just a few years away from him going back to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor. Are you Sarah Connor? Who's on? I'm gonna go with the most, babe. Let's just put them all in there. Whose unborn son will one day save mankind from being destroyed by Skynet, who, as I mentioned earlier, is the hostile artificial intelligence in this world that must be stopped. And while Cameron thinks the first movie in the long-running franchise is qualitatively, quote, pretty obsolete, end quote, he also believes it was a, quote, bit prescient on certain things like the emergence of AI, the potential existential threat of AI, which is transforming our world before our eyes, end quote. But he points out that as science fiction, as science continues to evolve in our contemporary technological society, Cameron finds it harder to write science fiction. So science reality,
right?
Moving at a certain pace.
I understand.
Science nonfiction.
Yeah. And he says, quote, I'm working through some of the themes that I want to bring into a new Terminator film, or possibly even a kind of reboot of a larger story framework. And it's difficult right now because I want to let the smoke clear on the whole thing, end quote. I mean, it's going to be like the, smoking section on an airplane. I don't know where that smoke's going to go, James. I mean,
I didn't really understand that, like the smoke clearing. I wasn't quite
the
sure
way I understand it from extrapolating from what he's saying is, like, think about how technology was advancing in the 80s and how it's advancing now. I mean, things happened at a pretty good clip, but now in the last 3 years, we've gone from electronic assistants to totally faked images that you can't tell the difference between. And, it can talk to you and convincingly. It's happening so fast now that by the time you write something that's in the future, that's science fiction for the future, by the time you produce it, it's maybe either already happened or it looks like old technology.
Right.
Is kind of what I read into it, because the advancement, like let's let things settle, stop technologically advancing so I can let that smoke clear so I can write a movie about it.
But it's never going to happen? That's never going to happen.
I don't think it is.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's my terrible metaphor about the airplane in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's never going to settle down. It's only going to continue to move at a rapid pace, which has me wondering, I guess, I wanted to chat with you guys about this idea about whether we agree with him or not. In other words, what is important to good science fiction? Is it important that it's prescient or, predictive, or is that really what, speculative? Is that what makes it a good story? And can you possibly run into the barrier of science being the limitation on your imagination? I don't know that I buy this idea.
I agree with that. I think that you can still have a creative idea, a creative story, using the things that we have, but maybe in a much inaccessible way. Like I thought about in the Marvel movies, Tony Stark, with his computers in the air, there were just glass panes, and I'm sure someday that can happen. The things that we watched him doing, but to my knowledge, I don't think that's happened yet.
Kind of Minority Report-y, like when Minority Report came out, that was crazy future tech. But in Iron Man, it was like, oh, we're pretty close to that.
Sure,
yeah. That we got closer to the tech.
Yeah, but it's still, I think that you can still have things that we're already used to, but you can portray them in ways that are just quicker or just not quite as streamlined as perhaps we can do now if you're going for the future thing. But I don't think it has to be a science fiction movie does not have to be all about that technology, because what about the characters? What about the story? What about the themes?
It's important too. But if you have that without the other, is it still science fiction?
Well, no.
Yeah.
Together. They have to work together.
Yeah, and trying to pin down science fiction, it turned out, I didn't realize, is really hard. It's been a sort of a very fluid definition over many decades, and even today, authors themselves, dispute what it is. But it does seem like Cameron, at least, is talking about science fiction as being speculative, which deals with some potential futuristic, imagined concept that doesn't exist today, and in certainly in the Terminator films, is a danger or will be a danger if not, reined in. You're right. There's Star Wars is science fiction, but there's nothing speculative about it, because within the world of Star Wars, everything is nothing, except for maybe the Force. People aren't like, oh wow, an alien's in this bar. What's happening? That's just how it is. So that's different. And I don't know. I would argue is, fantasy, like Lucas has said himself.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I first of all, I would agree that Star Wars is more fantasy than it is science fiction, but there's no doubt that it's science fiction is a huge part of it, although it leans more toward fantasy and the swashbuckler thing. Not the point, though. To Cameron's point, I'm going to shout out to the world's best AP English teacher. Love you, miss you, Barbara Clark. She's the best teacher I ever had. I've been all my life trying to find this quote that she gave us, and she said it came from some great science fiction writer. She might have said Asimov or someone. I can't attribute it, but the quote is irrelevant. The quote, though, is good science fiction is simply a logical projection of reality, by which it's whatever you have, literally in a projector, it's bigger. When it makes it to the wall, it's more than it was. It's more advanced than it was. So you don't have to make up something that doesn't exist. You just have to take the path we're currently on.
Right.
Logically, where would that be in 10, 20, 50, 1,000 years, whatever, and pretend that. So the reason I say all of that is I feel like Cameron's complaint about the difficulty doing science fiction now is the wall upon which you're projecting is approaching us at such velocity that it's hard to get ahead of it.
Right. Yeah.
That how do you predict what's coming in the future when, oh shit, it's here already. Now what's in the future? It's kind of coming at you so fast. So in that angle, I agree. Kat, what you said, though, I was going to point out, but you said so eloquently, is that that's not the thing that makes science fiction great science fiction. You have to have compelling characters. You have to have people who have real motivations. You have to have things you care about. That's just a good movie.
Yeah.
Then you need that projection of reality, I think, to make it good science fiction. That's the piece that's tough right now to get out ahead of.
Right. Yeah. And it seems like maybe the challenge for Cameron is trying to predict, like you're saying, or extrapolate from today what might be technologically possible, or certainly feasible or believable, so that if it's so far afield, you might be like, I don't buy into the premise. But also important to his film, at least in the Terminator franchise, is that there's a danger we can associate it with it, that there's, some kind of threat, because a lot of sci-fi and good sci-fi is those examinations of our fears, right? It's like, and ultimately all fear is, reducible to our fear of death. And certainly Terminator seems to be about that. So it's like, yes, that nexus of technological prediction, but that could bite us in the ass. And
what's not harder to do now is near field science fiction.
Okay.
Think of like Megan, right? Right. That almost is just happening today. So it's like, well, no problem. Take something that is a logical projection of what we're seeing now with, the robots that can run and jump and dance and all those things. Okay, we have artificial intelligence that can make things seem human. What if that goes afoul? You don't have to go very far to get to Megan. I think a lot of that you could see in a couple of years, having autonomous beings that can walk around and do things. And what if they malfunction? Sure. Why not? It's that far field science fiction where, like, we could go anywhere, and you could go down. You have to get so far ahead of current technology and its trends that you could be way, 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 way off. But you can always stick with the tried and true and possibilities like time travel. You know, as much as we love time travel, it probably can't do it.
Right.
You know, great scientists have said you can, at best, you might go forward, but you can't go back. Doesn't matter. But that's always good fodder. You know, perpetual motion, always good fodder. Things that are science fiction and technologically you probably can't get to, we're always trying to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the farther ahead you need to go, the tougher it is.
I was thinking of in Star Trek, the beaming. You know, beam me up. Can that ever happen? Probably not, but who knows?
They have transported matter states.
Yeah.
Like if an electron is spinning, they can make the same electron spin at another location using transport, but not living beings, right? That's
right. That sounds like it could be dangerous.
See? Yeah.
And Kat, the really dark thing is it's probably what they're probably just recreating the person on a different planet and killing them on the original starship. There's videos about the philosophy of that. It's pretty dark.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's The Jaunt. Stephen King's short story called The Jaunt, all about teleportation. Creepy.
Oh, yikes.
But so then it seems like, to your point, is that what Cameron's saying, Cameron wants to, maybe from an artist perspective, he wants to create something that's timeless. Or, you know, and the idea that Terminator, he's saying now, look, the ideas were prescient, but maybe the movie's quaint. But now it's harder to do these things, like John's saying, far afield. Is that what you said? Far field? Far field.
Yeah.
But who cares? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't look to create a movie that's going to be great in 50 years because it's sci-fi. Sci-fi doesn't last 50 years unless it's a great movie.
Sure.
And it's okay. We watch movies that are set in the quote-unquote future that are still fantastic.
Look what we thought was happening in the future. It's nothing like that, you know? Look at all the stuff that was in Marty McFly's future home. The silly stuff, like the rehydrating pizza thing and goofy shit like that. It's like, that's not what we did. But you can see how they... Yes, how they said we could get there maybe.
Yeah, so I don't know. That doesn't seem like a goal of science fiction needs to be that it's always going to seem forward thinking. But maybe in this, it seems like part of it is like that for him.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything?
Terminator's still a great movie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
And he's the guy.
You don't watch it and go, that's not how time travel works. You can. You can absolutely move technology around. It doesn't have to be wrapped in human flesh. What? No.
Right. And
It's
he
still
made
science
the
fiction.
movie. It's still science fiction. He made the movie, so he's going to be looking at it from a whole different perspective than those of us who are just enjoying it for what it is. Marcus found your quote, John.
Oh, Bradbury. That makes sense.
Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, it's Asimov adjacent.
Science fiction.
Marcus is the master of
logical-
Google. I keep telling you.
He sure is. Science fiction is a logical or mathematical projection of reality.
Marcus is low on knowledge, high on typing.
See? It's all right. One compensates for the other. It's like you lose one of your senses, the others compensate.
Yeah, and he also points out wisely, I think, he says Terminator science fiction's being irrelevant. Irrelevant doesn't mean every MacGuffin has already been dreamt up. Yeah, or they have, right? And we're retelling the same stories anyway. I don't know. I don't buy this. Again, what's important to science fiction, I guess, this kind of thing. I agree with John. Predict a little bit in the future. You'll be fine. You can still scare the shit out of us. There's another movie coming out. You mentioned Megan, like it's coming out soon. Look interesting to me. AI, which
Afraid.
Oh, it's called Afraid? I thought it was called AI.
It's Afraid. Okay. The AI is capitalized inside of Afraid.
Oh, clever,
yes.
Clever.
Yep.
That looks good. Where it's like Alexa just took it upon herself to like kill people that you were talking about over dinner that you don't like that sort of thing. Chad says sounds like the Cylons when talking about Megan. Yeah. That's what's keeping me away from the new Battlestar. But all right. Big Funny Giant says hover cars. Yeah, I guess among the many things that we didn't predict correctly.
Yep.
And that's fine. And Marcus says,
where's my flying cars, Bruce? Damn it.
All right. Hey, there you go. Look, there's plenty of good movies. There's plenty of interesting movies coming out still, and certainly tons of sci-fi. And old sci-fi, like The Last Starfighter. Come and see us at, why am I doing this now? I'm not going to do this now. Okay. Hey, that's our show. There you go.
And our show is brought to you thanks in part to our early adopters like Rick Parker and Karen Flieger. And thank you especially to our Secret of Our Success level Patreon supporters, Steve McLeod, Marcus Taylor, Tony Great, Nick Guillory, Matt Marino, John Henderson, and Brandon Greer, who is not here.
He's not here to hear it. Yes.
Sir not appearing in this film.
The role
But he's
of
having a
Brandon
great
Greer
time.
will be, Hey,
Oh, we
thanks,
got the
guys.
stand-in. Oh, let's come back tomorrow.
Brendan Gorp or something. Some weird.
Hey, everybody.
What does Brandon always remind you of? Something on fire? Dumpster fire?
Well, he does always remind me
He
of that.
loves to remind John about
The
it.
world's coming around to my way.
Fire
of thinking,
hydrant
Brandon.
with water. I'm Brendan Gorp. All right, I don't know what that was, but hey, thanks to the real Brandon Greer and Nick and
Thank
Matt
you,
and Tony,
Brandon.
Marcus, Steve, John and Rick and Karen and everybody else.
Yep.
There's other folks too that give some portion of their hard-earned dollars to us every month so that we can afford to pay the bills and produce this show every week. We are seriously grateful. Hey, and look, if you can, please join them on patreon.com/1980s now. If you can't, share a post, tell a friend about the show. That's the best way of us getting other listeners, is just have someone recommend us. And hey, if you like what we, Kat.
Brandon is wearing his 1980s Now t-shirt and his Gen X grown up hat at the concert he is at. He is representing.
He is sporting.
All is forgiven.
Yes.
All is forgiven. Concerts are legitimate.
He's hoping someone will say, hey, I listened to that. Or they'll say, what is that? Or they're going to Google it. So someone's going to find out about us tonight.
There we go. Will takes back all the Gorps.
Yes, I do. Yes, right. We don't want Brendan Gorp. We want Brandon Greer.
No.
Well, I was wearing my shirt, one of my shirts, 1980s now recently, and the guy was like, hey, 1980s. Yeah, I love it.
And then?
I just left it at that. I
You
was
left
like,
it at
yeah,
that.
me too.
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
I was at a toy show wearing my 1980s Now shirt and like, hey, love your shirt. I'm like, oh, you listen to the show? What?
Yeah,
I just like the 80s. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Never mind.
And how about the time I was wearing a 1980s Now t-shirt and this man pointed and he said, oh, National Organization for Women? I was like, no. That sounds great, but no.
All right, here's another humiliating story about my merch. I was at a convention once wearing a 1980s Now podcast shirt. It said, the shirts don't say podcast anymore. I don't know. I feel kind of, if GXG says podcast, that's John's choice. But I don't have podcasts on stuff. I don't know. It feels a little, self-indulgent or something. But it used to say podcast, and this is years ago. I was at a convention, and I would just walk up to a booth, and the guy's like, hey, you host a podcast. And I was like, yes, I do. He recognizes me. And he points to my shirt, which is podcast.
Which he read. It's
Yeah,
like reading your name tag and going, Will, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember you. I don't know who the hell you are either. Anyway, yes, look, if you do like what we do, come and see us September 7th and 8th in Oaks, PA. It's right near Philadelphia, not too far if you're in that area. We're going to be there, and we'll be joined by many other wonderful folks, including, not joined, they'll be there too. Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner and Lance Guest and Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney and others. And you can come say hi to all those folks, get their autographs, get their photograph with them. They're all fantastic, down-to-earth, wonderful people that you'll be happy you met. And us, too.
And also us.
Yes.
There's all those people you'll be happy you met, and we'll be there too.
Kat, did you hear when I was offering that you'd hug people?
Yes.
Okay.
I heard that I will be hugging people and they are allowed to smell me.
Yes, they're allowed
Right.
to.
That's what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
But they cannot smell.
Right.
We have a smell
yes.
policy.
They can
That's it, the
smell
right
me,
smell
but
policy.
they're
Again,
not allowed to smell.
They can smell, just not badly. Right? Because we were discussing, what if it's, lavender? What if, it could be something lovely. Pumpkin
Yes.
pie spice. Yeah,
Wear
whatever.
something lovely for me.
All right. Hey,
If I'm
we
going to
will-
get that close to you.
Hey, we will smell you later on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Goodbye, but with umlauts.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Exactly.
Maybe, something like that. All right. Enough shenanigans for one night. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Yes. Oh, Big Funny Giant says, sometimes I look at my own name tag. Oh, right.
Who
that's
am I
mine.
again? Yeah, right.
Who am I? Who did I tell people I was when I got here?
Now, I want to know, does it say Big Funny Giant on there, though?
Oh, right.
does
Or does it say BFG?
See Brendan
Or
Corp. Says the real Brendan Corp. BFG.
maybe
Brendan F. Gorp.
Oh.
Big Funny Giant was our stand-in for Brandon.
He didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Big-
Man, this light is bright today. Holy cow.
But-
You know, like when the doctor tests your eyes with the flashlight, it's like, don't look in the light. Like, look off to the side, and they look at your pupils.
Look right at my ear. Look at my ear.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have been focusing hard on not looking right into that light because
Oh, I'm sorry if I made
feel
you
fully
turn it up
dilated
too
right now.
high.
You need the you need the special eclipse glasses that have a little slit in them.
yes. Oh, you remind me. There was an 80s movie where a guy had glasses like that. Like one of the characters just wore glasses like that. Oh, no, I know what it is. There's a character in Big Trouble in Little China. One of the gang members from the Chinese gang. He has glasses that have little...
Had the horizontal, like the louvers, the horizontal,
Yes,
like
little...
Yes.
well,
mini blind.
no,
kinda
they're
looking.
like little...
No.
Little slots.
Oh, right. Like you're right. Like one little, like a mail slot in his glasses. Right. It was like I know what you're talking about.
A mouse slot.
Well, you know what I mean.
I
You know, it's like a little opening. And it's got a ledge on it, and kind of
Yeah.
impractical glasses.
Yes. I was looking
he
for my
came up.
eclipse glasses. I don't know where they went.
Oh, sorry.
Somewhere nearby. Not
You
important.
have Eclipse glasses handy?
Yeah. Because
Have you seen her? She's like Carrot Top with the props. Every time you mention a random Fraggle, oh, there's the puppet. What about something with the Krispy Kreme logo? Oh, look, a donut box. She has everything in arm's reach somehow.
Somebody say Salacious Crumb.
No one say anything.
I'm going to show
No
him.
one help her. No one help her.
We know you have Salacious Crumb.
I have Salacious Crumb.
Yeah.
Somebody say Hammerhead.
Hammerhead. There he is. Someone say Jizz Fortuna.
Ah, you got me there.
Dad, doggone it.
Quick, show a popcorn bucket.
Can I do this? Oh, I forgot it. It's not working.
What are you looking for there?
I have the picture of it. Oh, for God's sake.
There she is.
Thank you.
Hi.
How come I can't shut this thing down?
Picture in a picture.
The computer is not helping at all.
I feel like when you guys disappeared last week and it was just me trying to figure out what to do.
Shitty these days.
Are you trying to find something in a previous episode?
I am trying to get rid of this thing. All right, there we go. Good
I thought he was trying to find Jizz Fortuna.
Oh, just Fortuna's always with me.
All right, we're all back.
I was going to start showing more toys if I was going to stay up there much longer.
There's more toys, yeah.
Oh, I have so many.
I have toys in arm's reach. I've just been resisting.
Oh.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
You'll
shit.
show us. Oops. There he is. There he is.
See? Like a little mail slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're
I
curved.
wanted those. But
They are.
I might be...
It makes them have expression.
He
Expressive
looks
mail slots.
sleepier.
All right.
Oh,
speaking
I
of
just woke up,
sleepy,
but I am
let's
going to
let
whip your ass.
Oh.
Speaking of sleepy, let's let our audience
We're all
go.
out
All
of
right.
whack
Hey.
here. What's up with that? I don't belong there. There we go.
All right. Bye, everybody. Love to everybody.
Bye.
Stay safe out there.
Hi,
All those things.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining.